Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here. Well, usually my bedtime, because an hour from now or more, I'm usually getting up. But I felt like I wanted to dance tonight, and I went to see if I could find me someplace to dance. I wanted to dance. I don't know about the rest of the people of the world, but black people love to dance. It's freedom. It's freedom. I mean, to let it loose and just let the spirit of life live. Well, I couldn't find that tonight. But when I got back home, they had the tally on, and everybody was talking about Donald Trump and the lies that he's trying to tell. And people say they kind of fixed out what the art of the deal with Donald Trump is. And the reason that he is always failing is because he's never legit. His strategy is to deceive you, is to set you up and try to take advantage of you and exploit you. One way or another. In his dealing with it, and dealing with some South Africa stuff that I was listening to for a minute ago, trying to do what has always been done, ripping folks off, trying to take advantage of them, thinking people are stupid. Well, people are stupid, but they're not as stupid today, perhaps, as they were yesterday. Many of them are, but a lot of them aren't. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when I think about that, I keep thinking about the number of people who are doing whatever they possibly can based up in their professions. Lawyers and judges and should I just say the legal people are doing what legal people do, the ones that are legitimate, people who are sincere about life to a certain degree. I'm not talking about the crooks. The crooks just don't care about anything but being a crook. But but it just seemed to be so slow, moving so slow. It just doesn't make sense that you can see the crook doing his thing and gaining every day. And I guess people who are against them are doing their thing, and again doing it every day. But it just seems like it's so slow because there's other stuff that's moving. What they're actually doing is what they set out to do, and what it appears that on the other hand, people are strategizing, trying to see what to do. And while they're trying to determine what to do, these other folks are gone. Thing to me is it highlights how important it is that you protect yourself from things like this. You see, I know you thought you had a good protection. You say for 100 and so years, this thing has worked for you. You've been a little up and down bounces and stuff like this, but there were always some things that we never choose to fix because that's just the way we were. Those things came back to haunt you. Yeah, they're back to haunt you. But at the same time, when you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, you really give it some real good thinking. What if you had done the right thing all the time? This would have never happened. Just think about it, even though this has happened, you know, reality. But how do you keep it from happening again? Not by trying to mend what we have done here, because there's no mending to fix this. This is a system that's destined to be just like it is. And if you try to say, well, I'm going to switch this around and switch this around, it's sort of be just like some of the things you did in South Africa. When you start talking about apartheid and getting rid of that and affirmative action, trying to do that, and usually the way they did affirmative action everywhere is they take from those that got and give it to those who didn't have, and then now you got a new enemy. The one who used to have, now you got. So you haven't done anything. You haven't achieved one single thing. Even America, when you start talking about affirmative action, when you start taking from white folks, I don't think that I think white folks need to have this stuff. They don't need to have anything any more than black people. And if they can have it, blacks can have it. But that's talking about being fair. Being fair is not robbing one, give it to another, and leaving the other robbed. No. Being fair is making sure that you got it right for both sides. So if you say white people had a head on the black people, the solution is not to take the head out the white take, take the head out the white people. No, you go build a head for the black people and do it quick. Because everybody got to have heads, you see what I'm saying? That's the way to fix the problem. Or, ain't no or, you can't punish another one. Now, if you want to say there's no other way to do it, if there's no other way to do it, and you wanted to balance where you had to say, well, everybody going, you might have had a, a handful yesterday, but we found out we did some stuff crooked, and these people are here, they had a little bit. Now, that wasn't fair. So we're going to balance the stuff out. Now, when you balance the stuff out, these folks over here who didn't have but a little bit, don't have a lot more than a little bit. I hope you over here who had a lot of it going to have less, but it's going to be balanced out. You going to have, they going to have. Ain't nobody got any more than anybody else. Everybody got the cut, and everybody's satisfied. I guess. Unless somebody starts stealing, then we got to come up with another plan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say to you is this: do the right thing. That's what. Now, I only know of one way to work this situation out with a solution that it benefits the people. Now, I'm not saying this is the only way, but perhaps there are so many ways that I could only handle one. And so I was given the vision of one way that would work for all the people, that would produce what heaven has designed for the people. And it basically involves all the people that's on this here earth having a career. When you come on this earth, you come in with to this earth to bring something with you. You're not just coming to be here, you're bringing something with you. You got a gift, you're bringing something with you. And you're going to engage yourself with your gift. In other words, what I like to call it your career. And your career is the one that gives you your greatest joy. And coming on earth, you're knowing you're not coming here to become a billionaire. You're coming here to get as much joy as life will give you. And you do that by engaging in that career. And in that career, all of us doing what we do will be automatically creating a manifestation in that reservoir of goods and services, that which we the people have determined are absolutely necessary for us to be satisfied in this life, in such an abundance that no one will ever have to suffer like thereof. There won't be any Donald Trumps, there won't be any Putins, there won't be any whoever around there trying to rob you. That won't be happening. Now, I'm not saying what I'm telling you is the way to live in this life, to live as though they're in heaven. Now, a lot of folks start saying when you tell people just this, you're not telling them about sin. Well, look, when you start talking about sin, you're talking about stuff that hurts people. You're talking about pain and suffering. You're talking about lying and cheating and stealing. And for many of you, especially when you want to church, you're talking about committing adultery and fornication and all that kind of stuff like that. I'm gonna tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You put your own head in your own head. You make sure that you don't communicate, you don't commit adultery. You make sure that you don't fornicate. You make sure that you don't lie. You make sure you don't cheat. You make sure you don't steal. You make sure you don't let nobody walk on you. And if you see anybody walking on somebody else, you go get them and wake them up and get them out the way. But you get your mind and your body and your eyes out of other folks' business. Get them out of their business. They got to be committed to life just like you for it to work. But you don't have the right. You ain't got the time. You got to enjoy your life. You used to judge people. Get your mind off judging people. God is the judge. God is the judge. You, our judge, is to make sure that nobody got a argument. Nobody got a complaint. Nobody says they doing this wrong. Nobody's in the fire because we're satisfied. That's our duty. And that's what our responsibility is. That's our commitment. Fix this stuff. Nobody thinking about that other stuff. Stop watching people. I know you're not gonna start watching. You can't stop watching. But in time you will. I just thought, ladies and gentlemen, I'd share a little bit with you before I go to bed. I don't want the day to pass because I don't think I talked to you about 2 or 3 days. I did this little thing called the Gospel 2025. When I did the gospel, I did some gospel stuff, boy. I said, let me see. I shouldn't have to say anything in another 2 months. I just be quiet because I said it all on the Gospel 2025. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. I'm going to go to bed now. Until next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.